So around we met our neighbors around Valentine's Day last year, and I walked outside to walk my dog. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and I heard some noises coming from my neighbor's patio. And we live in an apartment building. I have like a neighbor on the other side of my wall from me right now that I'm yelling at.
Yeah, you should probably quit yelling.
They're fine. They apparently can't hear me. They haven't complained yet. But I heard some noise. I heard something fall on the ground, and I turn around, and this little, like 5-foot white girl just dropped dropped a bag of dog food, and I was like, what? And then I looked a little more, and there was a dog, and then like 10 puppies in a crate. And I was like, that's weird. And then she walked past me and got in a truck, and she just left. And I was like, why are there just a dog and a puppy chained to into this patio? So I go and I knock on the door. Nobody answers. So I was like, this is wild. So I tell Annabelle about it, and Annabelle was like, I don't want to tell you. So we both go outside because she wanted to go look at the dogs. And the dude that's next door is outside. I've never met him before, never even seen him. He's just standing there staring at these dogs, and we were like, hey. And he goes, do y'all know where these dogs come from? And he was just like, he was playing dumb. He knew exactly where they were. It was his dog. I was like, man, I just saw some little girl like drop him off. And then he was like, oh, what do we do? And I was like, I would call the cops and tell somebody that somebody just abandoned dogs at your property. And then he was like, what else would you do? I don't want to call the cops. That should have been red flag number 1. Again, I give people the benefit of the doubt. Don't really care what they do. So I was like, man, I don't know. And we look at the thing and we see the name of the girl. And I'm like, oh, we actually know this girl. We went to school with her. He ended up confiding in me a little later on that he dated that girl, that the dog was his, and that dog and her dog had puppies. That when they broke up, he just kind of left because he said that it was an abusive relationship, and he just kind of walked out the house one day with nothing while she wasn't home. He just left with the clothes he had on him. I was like, oh, okay, I understand. Next thing you know, cops started showing up and like prowling around the apartment buildings, and we're like, all right, that's different. We would go walk the dog, and there'd just be a cop standing behind our patio, and we just all around the property. And we were like, okay, this is kind of weird. Well, one day we see a whole line of cops across the street.
They had drones and everything out.
Yeah, they had a drone out. They were looking for him. We didn't know what they were doing. We didn't ask. It was none of our business. So we just went about our business, walked the dog. We went and hung out with we went and talked to our friends outside. Like, man, we don't know what's going on. So, next thing we know, I'm texting the dude next door because I got his phone. He gave me his phone number. He started texting me, like talking to me. He apparently, the cops had come and stopped him and his girlfriend as they were getting out of their car, and they're like, "Hey, is your name?" Well, I'm not gonna say his name. Is your name? We'll just go with Jason.
So and so.
Yeah. And then they were like, and he was like, man, he goes, I'll go inside, I'll get you my ID. And they're like, all right. So they follow him to the apartment, and he goes to go inside and close the door behind him. And then they put their foot in the door. He's like, man, this isn't my apartment. I can't let you in. And then they're like, you're not closing this door on us. And he was like, just let me go. And then so they had a hold of his arm and had their foot in the door, and he's trying to close the door. And they're like, man, please don't resist. And then he was like, man, let go of me. I can't let you in here. It's not my apartment. And they ended up tasing him through the door, which just kind of gets him stuck, so they still can't open the door. Eventually, he gets them off of him, and he gets the door closed and locks the door. Later on, he apparently ran out the bed. He then ran out their back patio door and just ran. So the cops didn't find him. So this is in February.
Like 2 months passed by at this point. After this.
So we haven't actually seen. So hold on. So like a week later, like I'm talking to him. He invites me over to play chess, and I was like, that's kind of a weird thing to invite me over for. So I go over there and I play chess with him. And me being me, I think I'm smarter than everybody. I go and play chess with him. I'm actually not that. I haven't played chess that much, so I didn't really know what to expect out of this. you know, he destroys me at chess. He loves chess. He plays all the time. He has a Harry Potter Wizard's chessboard. So then that night he like confided in me that like, hey, they were looking for me that day. He was like, I have a warrant out for my arrest because I was scared to go to court and I just didn't show up to court. And that apparently, he goes, I had the cops called on me at a grocery store while I was dating that girl because I didn't have a bag, I didn't have a cart, and I put like sandwich meat in my jacket pocket. He was gonna steal it, obviously, but he was trying to like say like he wasn't. He was just gonna like take it out of the register. And then next thing I know, he's
I want to answer his question real quick, Kyle.
I haven't seen it. What do you say?
So the night that like there was a bunch of cops out here where they had the drones and stuff out, it was the Morehead City Police Department, the county sheriff's deputies, and there was a couple of state troopers out here too. Now you can continue.
So he tells me all this. He tells me all this. I was like, oh. And the whole time I'm like over at their apartment, like his girlfriend, like, she's home, but she's upstairs. They ended up keeping one of the puppies. When we got one of our friends that live here to take another one of the puppies, and some of the neighbors took some other ones. So she's upstairs with the puppy, and the big, their big dog's downstairs. She's not a fan of people she doesn't know. So she was mad I was there. But he was telling me, he was like, yeah, so they were there for me, and he goes, man, he goes, I'm terrified to go to jail. He goes, and that's the whole reason, like, I didn't go. And I was like, I mean, I understand, but, like, you can't just run from them forever. So, you know, I knew about it after that. Obviously, I kept my distance from him after that. I tried not to, like, go hang out with him or anything. But I was never mean to him, and I never, like, shoved him away. So 2 months go by. We haven't actually seen him, and the cops hadn't shown up much anymore. So then right before, it was like 2 weeks, but it was like right in the middle of April, we go to our linen closet that's upstairs, and we're looking up at the ceiling, and we're like, hey, why is there's like what's up with this square in here? Like, is this like water damage, or like what's going on?
There was a crack in the ceiling that looked like, yeah, but you could see where it
was a rectangle.
There's like clearly like a perimeter around it too. And then we have a bad problem upstairs with like mildew. So there was marks on the ceiling that I thought was just mildew again, but I was also like, why does it look like fingerprints? But then I'm like, it can't be, because why would there be fingerprints on our ceiling? Yeah, so I just went with that it was mildew, so we called maintenance wanting them to come over to check to see if it's like water damage and stuff. They come over and look at it. Nothing's wrong as far as like water damage is concerned, so they were gonna just plan on coming and just fixing the crack in the ceiling.
No, hold on. So when
and even they were looking at it too, and also noticed that it looked like fingerprints, and they were wondering like why it was like that too, but they just didn't say anything to us about it, like asking us.
You're leaving out a lot of details. So when we asked them at first, it was our property manager was like, yeah, absolutely. That was on a Friday. I was like, I know, you're like, the day's over. It was like, just get to a Monday, please. And she was like, yeah. And then they didn't. So then next Friday rolls around, and I call her, and I was like, hey, nobody came and looked at this. I was like, and it's getting worse. I was like, can you get somebody over here? She's like, nobody went over there. And I was like, not that I'm aware of. So they went over there that Friday, and they looked at it, and they're like, why is Kyle touching this? Why is he touching the ceiling? They're like, we'll talk to him about it Monday. So we're like, nobody told me anything. So Sunday comes around, and I'm working a second job. I'm a waiter at a restaurant. Yeah, I'm a waiter at a restaurant.
I was bartending.
Not that night.
Yes, I was working that day. So I came home from work, and you were going to work.
You were home, and you were 4 months pregnant.
Yeah.
So Annabelle's at home. She's about to walk the dog. She notices the cops are outside again. She's like, okay, well, whatever. I'll go walk the dog. This doesn't bother me. So she gets up to grab the leash, and all of a sudden she hears this loud thunk from upstairs. And then that dude is running down our stairs, runs past her, and just runs out the door. By the way, he got away from the cops. They didn't find him for another, like, 3 weeks. He had apparently been coming in and out of our apartment for about 2 weeks. That's why there was a rectangle on our ceiling.
Where he had cut the ceiling.
Yeah, so and he would come in through our apartment and leave during the day, which made a lot of sense to me because I had been finding my patio door unlocked when I came home from work, and I just thought Annabelle, he was like, you know what, she probably just left it open. She does that from time to time. Like, it's not surprising to me. No, it was that guy. He had apparently been coming in and out of my apartment. So on one hand, like, it's a good thing, like, I kind of made friends with him because he didn't steal anything. And Annabelle she cuts hair, so she always just has, like, money laying around the house, like ones and stuff. And he didn't take any of it, which is surprising considering I found out he'd been stealing from his girlfriend. So yeah, there was